who is the Senior Manager and Community Partnerships an outreach director for Girls Who Code. She is fabulously agreed to join us tonight to take us through the Summer Immersion Program information. She is a passionate advocate of educational equity and has dedicated her career to developing strong community partnerships. Emily also aspires to bring people together with purpose, creativity, and a steadfast dedication to social justice. And so today she is going to talk to us more about Girls Who Code's free virtual summer immersion program and all the exciting things that the program has to offer. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it back to Emily so she can tell us more. Thank you, Emily.
Great. Thank you so much, Manita. It's so exciting to be here with all of you and talk a little bit more about what a summer could look like for you all at Girls Who Code. So as I mentioned, I'll be talking a little bit more about the virtual summer immersion program. So we'll take a moment to get to know each other a little bit more as we kick off the session for today. I'll tell you a little bit more about the program and everything that's in store for you this summer and how to apply with priority consideration through the district. So we're really excited about that. I want to give you a leg up in the application as much as possible. So we're excited to go over that. And we'll have a Q&A or question and answer at the end as well. If you do have questions throughout, please feel free to throw it into the chat. We can have it be a continued conversation. So excited to share a little bit more with you today and have that conversation with you. We'll take about maybe 30 or so minutes to kind of go through that content. And I'll stay afterwards a little bit at the end too, just in case you have additional, more individual questions that I can answer for you. So without further ado, I'm excited to get started. So this is me, as you can see. So my name's Emily Young. I'm the Senior Manager of Community Partnerships and Outreach at Girls Who Code. And I specifically focus on building really great partnerships with school districts like yourselves, library networks, and other nonprofits all across the country with a particular eye in California, the West Coast, and the Northeastern territories of the United States. I have been at Girls Who Code about 3 years, and before that worked in different parts of education all throughout. So with that, I would love to hear a little bit about you as well. If you could introduce yourselves into the chat, I would love to hear your name, the school that you are coming from, and what is your favorite app? So maybe that could be on the phone, maybe it could be on a computer, whatever it might be. What is your favorite app? So once again, in the chat, please put your name, the school you're coming from, and the favorite app that you have right now. Might be different each day. That's totally fine as well. I know it definitely shifts for me. But once again, please feel free to put that into the chat. As you do that, I'll share a little bit more about my favorite ones. Lately, to be honest, I've been playing a lot of this game. It's called like Brick Balls Crusher. And it's just like a kind of a mindless game that goes all across, to have some fun. So I do really like that one. There's also another really fantastic one called Sandvella, which is really helpful for mental health and support there with great meditations and things like that. So those are two of my favorite ones. I see some more introductions coming on in the chat. Don't be shy. Please feel free to put it in there. Welcome to lots of folks here. Okay, we have a couple favorite games. We have the Scrabble. Yes, love that one. Super fun. And then just messaging so you can connect with your friends. It's super important, especially now. So definitely good to hear. Apple Music, yes. Okay, a fellow music lover, love it. YouTube as well, and some more music lovers, so Spotify and Apple Music. Definitely really good ones. So excited to hear about the different types of things that you're all interested in. And here today, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how to gain the skills so you can create your own things that you might dream up, no matter what it might be, no matter what you're passionate about. So really excited to have you here. And yes, lots of folks from Hillsdale, super exciting. Well, welcome. Excited to have you all join us today. So now that you get a sense of like the different apps that you like, right? I want you to visualize this for me as well. There's so many really cool things that you can do with technology. And we know definitely at Girls Who Code, there's so many really cool things that you can create and so many challenges and problems in the community that we can address through technology as a great solution or support system for that solution. So I would like to pose this question to you. If you could change the world with technology in any way, what would you change? Now, you could be passionate about a variety of different things. Maybe you're passionate about anti-bullying or LGBTQ rights or Black Lives Matter movement or environmental issues or animal rights or mental health resources. There's so many different things that you could be passionate about. So once again, I'm going to pose the question to you. Please feel free to put it into the chat. If you're feeling a little shy, that's okay too. You can think about this a little later and start thinking about what you might create once you get those skills this summer. So once again, think about that question. You could change the world with technology in any way, shape, or form. What would you change? Great. So once again, please feel free to put it into the chat or just think about what that answer might be or how you might get to what that answer might be. What other things can you do to really identify what you might be passionate about and how you might want to change the world in a positive way? I already see a couple folks adding into the chat. We have fair and unbiased media for everyone. Definitely, right? And that's so important, especially today and always. More mental health resources definitely during these times is so important. And glad you brought that up too. Definitely want to create a lot of variety of resources for folks, no matter how they're interested in learning and getting some of the support that they need. So great different ideas that we have in the chat so far. Climate crisis, definitely a big one, especially for our future generations and the world that we live in today. So thank you for that candor. Thanks for your honesty as well. So great to see the passions that you have and excited to continue on for today. So now that you get a sense of what are some of your favorite apps, what are some problems that you might create, that you might address through technology? Well, I want to introduce you to Girls Who Code. So we are an international nonprofit all across the world that really focuses on closing the gender gap in technology. We want to inspire, educate, and equip girls and non-binary students with the computing skills that they need to pursue 21st century opportunities. And I'll just tell you right now, coding skills are so sought after in today's economy. In fact, the average salary for a coder is $100,000 as an average for the base. So lots of room to grow with these new skills, no matter what you're passionate about. And actually 67% of jobs for coding is in non-traditional tech fields. If you're also passionate about medicine, theater, art, agriculture, right? Environmental issues, some of the other things that you're teasing out too in the chat, these coding skills can help you no matter what you're passionate about. So we definitely know here at Girls Who Go To, there's always not just one thing that we care about. We're complex people with so many different things that we want to address. And so coding is a great way to get the tools to really merge things together and address all of those things that we want to do. So that's what we want to do at Girls Who Code. Address the gender gap in technology and give you all the skills that you need to create all these different things that you dream up and make a positive impact in your community. So now I'm excited to dive in to a little bit more about the Summer Immersion Program and all the things that you can think about this summer. Once again, if you do have questions throughout, please don't be shy. Put it in the chat. I'm happy to answer it. Trust me, I don't bite. I'm happy to kind of go through it all together. So for the Summer Immersion Program, big reveal here, this is a completely free program. Once again, completely free, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's a 2-week program for 9th to 11th grade girls and non-binary students. For the 9th to 11th grade, keep in mind that means you're currently in 9th to 11th grade or rising 10th to 12th grade. Or so next year, maybe you're in 10th to 12th, but this year you're in 9th to 11th. And we're here to help you all learn those computer science skills that you need to make a positive impact in your community and prepare for a career in tech. Once again, as I mentioned, In tech, there's so many different things that you can do. It's not just this, typical image we might have, like the Silicon Valley show of, some guy in a hoodie, like coding somewhere in a basement on Facebook. It's not always like that. And so our job is to change that perception of what a coder looks like and does, so that way you know that there's so many possibilities in tech, and to give you access to really great corporate partners that we have that can show you what that looks like, to give you an inside exclusive look into the tech industry. During the program, you'll spend about 3 to 4 hours each day from Monday to Friday in the morning. So 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, that's when it does start, and it'll last 3 to 4 hours each day, that Monday to Friday, for 2 weeks. During that time, you'll be able to learn an introduction into the world of coding. So if you don't know any coding yet, that's completely fine. You'll learn an introduction and we'll walk it through with you the entire way. You'll have a great teaching team for each of the classrooms that features an instructor who's from Girls Who Code, as well as teaching assistants to really help you in everything that you need. You'll even have like weekly 30-minute check-ins with your teaching team to see how everything's going and best support you in the best ways that we can. We also have optional office hours. So as you're doing the coding, learning these skills, and creating cool projects related to those things that you're passionate about, you can always come to office hours and we can support you to make those dreams come to life. We also know that community is really important, right? I know a few of you mentioned that mental health is really important to you. Well, creating that sense of community and being a part of a community is so important to combat that. And so we want to make sure you feel fully supported this summer, and have lots of ongoing support from Girls Who Code and from the fellow students that you have in your classroom. So many of our students walk away with lifelong friendships, and it might be cheesy to say, and it might be hard to think about now, but it really is the case. Actually, last year at the end of a couple of our graduations of a virtual 2-week program, students were like crying the last day and didn't want to log off. They ended up staying an extra like 3 hours online, just talking with each other and, being able to support each other in that way. So it's so great to see. It's a good way to meet students from all around the country and even the world, with some Canadian students, UK students, and India students coming into our classrooms too. So it's a great way to make friends and build your network as well. You'll have different sisterhood activities, so group builders, icebreakers, to really build that sense of community together. You'll also have, and one of my favorite parts of the program, these virtual events. Now, every single classroom is sponsored by one of our corporate partners. That means it could be Disney, Apple, Blizzard Entertainment, Kate Spade, Walmart, JP Morgan Chase, Prudential, MetLife. There's so many different companies, over 80 of them that we work with, that really believe in what we do and believe in you. And that's really the biggest piece of it. They're the ones who are saying, hey, we want to network with these high school students. We want to make sure we're keeping them in mind to get them into the field, to give them internships as they get to college, and to build their careers as they graduate as well. So it's a lot of extra support, a great way to see what the industry actually looks like, to see if it's for you, and to see how tech can be applied in a variety of different fields. So it's a great opportunity to do that. A lot of really good connections and networking with those corporate partners. And it doesn't just stop at the end of the Summer Immersion Program. Actually, we offer exclusive alumni opportunities for students all across the world after they become part of our alumni. We actually, since we were founded in 2012, served over 300,000 girls and young women to date. So that means you're joining a network of over 300,000 students and growing all across the world. That's great networking opportunities, a good support system as well, and a feeling that you're joining this movement for gender equity in STEM. Plus, it's not just the community piece. You'll also get lots of benefits. So we have academic support, professional support. So you'll have different like Girls Who Code talks, which are different panels and discussions to help you build a resume, build a LinkedIn maybe for the first time, practice your interviewing for different jobs and internships. We also have hiring summits with different opportunities to connect with our corporate partners and do some networking, share resumes, and see if you can secure that internship or job. We also have college loops, which is a network on different college campuses all across the country, to continue to meet with each other and form that support system and tap into great virtual mentorship with our corporate partners. So lots of exclusive alumni opportunities. So once again, Girls Who Code doesn't just stop at the end of the summer. You'll be with us for life, and we'll make sure that to support you in every way that we can. Oops, sorry about that. I'm skipping through, got too excited. So there's a couple of different pieces that you'll learn during the summer. One, as I mentioned, is the idea of careers and seeing what a career actually could look like. So as I mentioned, you'll all be paired with top tier companies. So like a Disney classroom, the Apple classroom, Microsoft classroom, etc., or Twitter classroom. We even have a Snapchat classroom coming up. So number of different companies that you can work with. They're all leading industry leaders. So it's great to see really inspiring female role models in the space, to learn from them, see what their experiences are, and really get tangible tips for what you need to do to get into the industry and get a high paying job as you get older. So definitely tap in there. The career piece is huge when you're a part of the Summer Immersion Program. The second piece is the idea of skills and impact, right? And so we definitely need the technical skills to get you on your way. And so you'll learn an introduction into 3 different coding languages. There's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Don't worry, for those of you who are not coders yet, that's okay. That might not make sense. But essentially what you need to know is those are different coding languages to learn how to speak the computer's language and tell it what you want it to do, whether you're building a website or maybe a personality quiz or an animation or design, variety of different things that you can create. And so you'll learn these different languages through hands-on real world projects, right? You're not just going to read a textbook and see what it means, but you'll get hands-on practice with it. You'll build projects that matter to you. So as I mentioned, whether it is environmental issues or finding reef safe suntan lotion, or maybe it is the Flint water crisis in Michigan, or maybe it is supporting Native American languages to keep them alive. There's so many different things you can do and that you can care about. And so that's a good way to get the hands-on experience, to get the tools you need to make a difference. And then the last piece of it, and not the least important, but definitely important as well, is that idea of sisterhood. So you'll get that supportive environment, you'll make lifelong friendships, and join that robust alumni network of the 300,000 strong. In terms of what the day would look like, now here's just a sample day. Now each day looks a little bit different, but I just wanted to give you a sense of what you can expect for a sample day. So what you might do first is do some group learning. So you'll learn in your virtual classroom with the larger teaching team and all of the fellow students, starting at 9:30 a.m. in your local time, in Pacific time, of course. So you'll maybe dive into some system and tools to learn about how do different industries learn about systems and what tools might they use to get their different projects done. You might do some sisterhood activities to get to know your other students and to build a sense of a supportive network with one another. You'll then maybe do an introduction into HTML. So maybe you might learn an introduction to that coding language. After that, maybe you'll move into a bit of self-study. So you'll work on a different coding module, which means it's a section of that curriculum to go through, okay, now that I have an introduction into HTML, let me dive in a little bit deeper and see how it's applied through some different projects that I'm working on. Then you might have a Women in Tech Spotlight. Maybe you'll learn about really fascinating women in the industry, how they use technology in really creative and innovative ways, and how they really faced a lot of challenges that comes with being a woman, especially for a woman of color in this space. And so it's great for us to identify, maybe are they facing microaggressions when they're going into NASA, right? Maybe they are, seeing how can they still be innovative and be at the top of the curve in the fashion industry. So there's a number of different things for a variety of different disciplines, all walks of life for these women in tech that we spotlight. Then you'll do some daily reflection at the end of each day or end of each section. You'll reflect upon it with your entire group. After that, of course, you need to eat. So you're going to have some lunch and take a bit of a lunch break. So you'll be able to refuel. And then you'll have some optional time to join some office hours. So this depends on you, how many questions you might have, but definitely encourage you to take advantage of it. We have optional office hours from 1:30 to 2:30 with our teaching team. So you can ask them questions, go over some challenges you might be facing with your code and your projects you're developing, or other things like that. So lots of support there for you just in case. And then I also wanted to tag in this piece for some fun events. The times vary, so it might be, on the Monday for that week, or the Tuesday or the Thursday, whatever that might be. But you'll have access to career panels through our corporate partners and learn from different companies there. There will be guest speakers coming into your classroom to tell you more about their experiences and those tips that they have for you. Town halls to talk with some of our staff members and other corporate partners as well. And at the end of your 2-week experience, you'll do a project showcase where you'll get to show all these cool things that you're creating to address those real world problems in the community that you care about. So here, once again, is just a sample day. It's not every single day you'll be doing this exact same thing, but in terms of structure, it'll tend to be more group learning in the beginning, maybe some work in terms of independent work that you're doing. Oh, of course, you'll probably eat lunch every day and then join in some office hours. So that's generally what the day looks like, but we have lots in store for you all throughout the summer. So in terms of who can participate, that would be any girls, whether transgender, cisgender girls, however you identify, and non-binary students can join us. You'll need to be rising sophomores to juniors and seniors, or that means that you're currently in 9th to 11th grade, or next year you'll be a sophomore, junior, or senior. There's no coding experience needed. Beginners are definitely welcome. So please feel free to share it widely as well. Get your friends involved and sign up together. But no coding experience needed. You'll learn right alongside us. If you have taken any computer science before, let's say you learned Python or some other languages, that's okay, as long as you're interested in learning an introduction into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you're definitely welcome to apply. You'll also need to be available for the full 2-week program in your time zone, so Pacific time, of course. There are different start times in the summertime, so there's 3 different rounds. There's one at the end of June, one in the middle of July, and then one in the beginning of August. So you'll just pick a time that works best for you. I have a few questions popping in too, so if you do want to start adding in questions in the chat, please feel free and I'll answer them in just a moment. In order for you to join the program and learn, all you need is computers with audio and video, so you can log on to your classrooms, just like you're doing today, internet access, just like you have today, as well as we usually suggest headphones just so it's easier for you to hear, but it's not required, of course, and a space to work. So just, hopefully a relatively quiet space that you have so you can participate in the program. I will mention a specific piece as well. If you don't have access to computers and internet, that's also completely fine. Please feel free to let us know. That won't be a barrier to entry into the program. Definitely let us know. We're actually going to be giving out computers and internet to borrow as well over the summer for anyone who qualifies with with financial need for the summer. So don't worry about it. We got your back. Just let us know and we can support you in any way that we can. We'll also support you in addition to it being a free program. We actually have stipends of up to $300. Now, you might not know exactly what a stipend means. That just means that because you're participating in the program, we want to make sure to financially support you. If you, let's say normally if you would have had to work during those 2 weeks, hopefully this can help subsidize that a little bit. Maybe it's helping you with living costs or tech costs, maybe to get a headphone set, right? Or maybe it's to support your family during COVID, right? It's a number of different things you can use it for. There's no restrictions to it. You just get $300 as long as you indicate financial need. About actually half of our students do tend to get it. So definitely encourage you to list that you're interested as well if you are interested in doing that. You'll also get the alumni network. We also have what's called a Hire Me initiative, which is a Hire Me app. It's a job platform specifically for our alumni, where our corporate partners offer job opportunities and paid internships and all different opportunities for you to get access to build up your career. We also have the teaching team and office hours. So you won't be alone during the summer. We'll make sure to support you all the way through. I do see some questions popping into the chat as well. I'll answer them quickly too, and then keep on joining on. In the meantime, please feel free to read the slide. But the first question we have is 3D printing related to coding? Very good question. It definitely is related to coding. It's really cool. So many different things you can do with 3D printing, and often coding is telling the computer exactly how to do that work. We won't be doing 3D printing during the virtual program, but I would say joining onto the Summer Immersion Program this summer is a great opportunity to learn these base skills and computational thinking, which is the way of thinking when you're doing coding. So that way it's transferable no matter what you want to do. And 3D printing is a great way to continue your learning afterwards. We have another question popping in. Will you get groups assigned to you, or can you choose? Also a good question. We will assign you a classroom. And so after you apply, and I'll talk a bit about the application process. After you do apply, we will assign you a classroom overall. You can choose, however, the rounds that you're doing. So if you want to do the June round, the July round, or the August round. And I would say we try to put siblings as much as possible in the same kind of round, so it's a little bit easier. We also, if you, let's say, are joining on with your friends or things like that too, I would encourage you to pick similar rounds. So you can kind of, even if you're in different classrooms, which is actually kind of nice to continue making new friends. It's a good way to build that support network and share, some learnings with each other. I have another question popping in here. You're a parent and you're wondering if your family moves out of the district, will your daughter still be able to participate in the program? Yes, absolutely. It's actually an international program. So we do provide priority consideration for the district and the students within the district, but all students all across the country and the world are definitely eligible to participate. So if you move, totally fine. Please feel free to apply. I absolutely encourage you to. We'd love to have you. Another question, what dates does the program run through? Very good question. I actually have it, I think, in the next 2 or 3 slides. So I'll get you the exact dates that you need as well. Okay, I have one more question here that you're completely new to computer science. Well, welcome. And then you really want to join and learn as much as you can. Is there anything that I might recommend to people like you before you apply? To be honest, that's actually perfect. We love having beginners. It's actually designed as more of an introduction into the world of coding. So all you need to do is like a willingness to learn and an excitement for the program. On the application, and I'll talk about that in a second, I would definitely indicate your interest in learning more and your interest in maybe what you want to do with coding or what you want to apply some of those skills to. So really kind of digging into how you're new to it and are interested in learning. Definitely still encourage you to apply. Great, okay, I think I answered most of those questions. If more come up, which they might, please feel free to add it into the chat. In the meantime, I wanted to share a few different reasons to join us this summer. I know I mentioned quite a few as well, but one is that there's a really big skills demand, especially now as the entire world's really moving into the technology space. Employers are looking for computer science skills. There's also not just one way to do computer science. There's data science, right? There's different types of engineering. There is front end work and back end work, and all of that will make sense as you're kind of getting started. So there's a number of things you can do with computer science, and it's really good to have no matter what you go into. Plus, the demand for computing skills is actually 3 times the national average for other skills. So definitely encourage you to get those skills no matter what you want to go into. And as I mentioned, the average tech job pays over $100,000 annually. And that's kind of nice. So definitely encourage you to keep that in mind. Of course, money isn't everything in terms of what you're passionate about, but it doesn't hurt, right? So especially if you're getting paid for things you're passionate about and being able to address those things you care about as well. The second reason would be job flexibility. Computer science skills are very transferable. It could be applied to any industry, giving you flexibility in where and how you work. Think about the number of different companies that have a website. Someone's got to be there to run that website. Someone's got to be there to create those apps or create animations and visuals and different things like that for their programs and for their products. So it's really transferable no matter what you go into. Lastly, there's that lifelong sisterhood. Networks definitely matter, and you'll know that, especially as you're moving into, later on in high school, college, and career. Networking is super important, and so finding your next opportunity is definitely easier when you have connections like the Girls Who Code alumni network, like the corporate partners that we have, to really make sure you're getting connected and building up your professional network, for your career as much as possible, even as early as now. And of course, tech is fun. It's a lot of fun once you're getting started. There's so many different things you can do with it. So definitely encourage you to hop on in, and test it out. So now the meat of it, how to actually apply, how to get priority consideration in the program. So in order to apply, we do have the application open now. It actually only takes maybe 15 to 30 minutes, I would say, to fill out the application. It's quite short. I would say the biggest things we ask you are, the interest in what rounds and different programs and things like that you're interested in. And there is one short answer response we'll ask you about why you're interested in joining the program. So out of the application, that'll probably take you a bit the longest, but it's still a short answer response. I'll have you know too, we're trying to accept as many students as possible, especially this summer. We know there's a need, we know there's an interest. So we're really working nonstop to widen the program as much as possible and get you in the door. Especially with your priority consideration through the district, it's really helpful in that application process. And I'll talk about that in a second. So after you fill out that quick application, the final deadline is March 19th. So keep that date in your calendar. If you have availability to fill out the application this weekend, I definitely encourage you to just get it out of the way, have it over with so you can be considered. Definitely feel free to do so. But if not, by March 19th, the latest, make sure you get your very quick application in. There is also an optional stipend application. So if you're interested in being considered for that extra $300, doesn't hurt to just put your name in there. You can fill out that application afterwards. So after you fill out that application, you'll get a notification saying, hey, do you also want to be considered for the stipend? Fill out this information. And we'll just ask you a few more questions to get you through that door. You'll then hear back from us in mid-April. For those of you, some of you might have already applied for the early acceptance deadline, then you'll get an understanding later on. If not, you'll hear back from us in mid-April if you fill out the application by March 19th. So we'll definitely let you know as soon as we can. There's lots of applications to go through, and we want to prioritize putting you in the right classroom for you. So we'll be able to share that notification with you in mid-April. And then you'll get ready for the summer of a lifetime and then be part of the Girls Who Code community for life. So we're really excited about that overall. For the priority consideration into the program, I'll mention that quickly as well. If you've already applied but forgot to, or didn't know to list the district as your core community partner, that's also completely fine. We're actually going to take a look at what school district you listed, and anyone who listed San Mateo on their application for the district, we're going to retroactively add you so you can get priority consideration. So we prefer if you put on that you are a community partner of it, just in case, because we want to make sure you get that. But don't worry if you already applied, totally fine. We're going to retroactively affiliate you. So you should all be good. We're here to support you. And I'll give you exact instructions for how to create that priority consideration as well. But before I do that, just want to share the program dates. I know one of you had asked for that as well. Here are the different rounds. So if you want to write it down, or if you want to just take a look at those dates in the application, it'll be there too. You can select either all three, just one, just two, whatever works for your schedule. That way we'll either consider you just for the ones that you're selecting. So if you select all three, it doesn't mean you're participating in all three. It just means we'll tell you which round we'll be able to put you in for that time. So don't worry about it. You're not going to be on the hook for the whole summer, though that would be great. We'll make sure to put you into a round that works for your schedule. You'll also on the application put what time zone you're choosing. So I'm assuming you'll all put Pacific time zone, but let's say you're really, really early morning people, you can put Central and Eastern also if you'd like. You just have to make sure you're available for it. So for those of you who are really early birds, totally fine. Please feel free to select them all or just one or whatever works for you. Okay, now, if you do get put on the wait list, do not worry. We'll make sure, well, one, I'm hoping that all of you are submitting your applications on time and getting that priority consideration. If you do get put on the wait list, do not worry. We're actually constantly accepting students off the wait list. It just means that we're trying to curate our classrooms and fill up our classrooms as quickly as possible. So once a spot becomes available, and oftentimes they do, we'll email you and say, hey, this spot in this classroom is available. Are you interested? And we'll put you in the pool. Okay, so don't worry about it at all. We'll try to get you that priority consideration. And if you're put on the wait list, we'll contact you if you once we do have a spot. I'll also mention too, this year in particular, so you'll get a super sneak peek because we haven't fully announced it yet, but we'll also offer a self-paced summer program option. So it's very similar to the regular summer immersion program, but you'll actually be able to do it at a flexible time all throughout the summer. So it's more like a college course where you'll work more independently and join onto a couple group sessions. But it's a good option if you have more, the structure in the summer, maybe other commitments that you have. So it's a good way to be flexible. And we're actually going to offer that to as many waitlist students as possible as well. Or some students actually do prefer that flexible option. You'll see that on the actual application to say, hey, would you also be interested in a self-paced option? You can always click yes, and then we'll consider you for both programs at the same time. So definitely feel free to do that as well. Okay, lastly, once again, we are here to help. We want to help you, go through the application, get you into the program as much as possible. You'll be able to visit our website at girlswhocode.com/SIP. You can check out our FAQ page, email our customer care team, or sign up for one of our webinars. We do have a number of them, though I would say some of the content is similar to what I went over today. So you had a special presentation just for you all because you are all our partner that we do work with. So if you're going to access any of these resources, please feel free to do so. I'll also be able to, I can put actually directly right now in the chat, the application. So even if you want to start it just by like putting your name in and things so you get reminders, you can please feel free to do so. And then you can finish the application at any time before the final acceptance deadline. Just don't forget. So I just put it into the chat. And I'll also share the slide deck, this recording, as well as the follow-up resources with you all. So you'll be able to get that too afterwards. Great. So lastly, before we move into some questions, I do want to make sure you get that priority consideration. Can't stress that enough. Here's actually QR codes. If you did, I never really knew how QR codes work because I wasn't super technologically savvy yet. But now, so if you are doing so, you just use your phone, kind of go close to the screen, and then you'll see with your camera, and then you'll see the link pop up, and then it'll bring you right to the website. So you can do that, or just go in the chat and go to girlswhocode.com/SIP-apply. When you're filling out the application, make sure to list the full school district. It's, I think, maybe on one of the last few pages, it says, hey, are you affiliated with any of our community partners? Yes, you are, because you're a part of the San Mateo Union High School District. So make sure to list the district on the application. It'll actually pop up in a drop-down menu. So if you start looking up like San Mateo, it'll pop up on it for you. And that way we can make sure to affiliate you. Once again, if you forget, that's okay. We can retroactively do that for you as well. So no worries at all. And that's how you get that priority consideration. And we'll make sure to send you different updates and your offer decision as well in mid-April. So keep a lookout. So with that, we'll move into just some overall questions. Want to see what questions you have, how I can best support. I do see maybe a couple questions here. Yeah, once again, if you've already applied, no worries at all, we'll retroactively affiliate you. But I know I've been talking nonstop, so I'm going to take a quick pause and see if any folks have additional questions they'd like to share. Please feel free to put it into the chat. I'll stay on a few extra moments as well, just in case you have a more individual question. You can feel free to unmute yourself. If not, it was such a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you so much to Anita McKinney to have me here today and share this really great opportunity with all of you. And with that, if you need to sign off, totally fine. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. And if not, if you have questions, I'm here to stay on.
Thank you so much, Emily. Your energy and information and encouragement is amazing. You've made me want to go back to high school just so I can be a part of this
Yes.
great opportunity. So I encourage everyone who is on the line, if you are a high school student and you are even thinking about doing it, just apply. And if you are a parent of or supporting a student who is within the district, please do apply. If you have any questions now, go ahead and ask them. We give you the floor. You can come on camera, type them, or just unmute yourself. Emily is fabulous at answering any question that you may have.
Thank you so much. I do see one question popping into the chat as well. So who teaches the classes? Are they alumni? Are they tech professionals or volunteers or all of the above? Very good question, Caroline. Overall, for the people who are teaching our classes, it's actually quite a variety. Typically, they've been computer science educators all across the country. So we do have quite a number of them. They need to be experts in computer science for our summer immersion program in particular. And oftentimes we do also have teaching assistants in every single classroom. Oftentimes they actually are some of our alumni who are studying computer science in school, or our recent graduates as well, and just getting started in the space in their careers. Sometimes we have people who are graduate students as well supporting us, or other educators as well. So that's typically what our teaching team has looked like for the summer immersion program. Once again, all professionals in the computer science space, or educators, and our people who are virtual like panelists and those types of things. Those are all volunteers who are employees from those companies, whether it's Microsoft or Disney or Apple or Twitter or Snapchat or whatever that might be. So you'll get to learn from them as well. Very good question. And I would say too, we're going to be accepting as many students as possible. And so definitely encourage you, especially with the priority consideration through San Mateo Unified School District, definitely feel free to share it widely, get your friends involved, share it with your fellow classmates. We'd love to support as many of you as possible and really prioritize you all in the application process. I have a couple more questions popping in. Really good questions here. What is the maximum number of students per class? Very good question. In terms of the overall group of the class, you'll typically have about 60 or a little bit less students for like the group instruction part, with a summer immersion program instructor paid by Girls Who Code, as well as 4 teaching assistants in each classroom. Then you'll move into breakout rooms. So maybe smaller groups of about 20 or so to dive a little bit deeper. And you'll have support systems within those 20 to have little groups of students. So it's kind of like scaffolded down a little bit. So that way you can still build a quite large network and have smaller touch points with your fellow classmates and with the teaching team. We have a few more questions too. Is the SIP, or the summer immersion program, restricted to the San Mateo Unified High School District, or can friends from other districts also apply, maybe without the priority consideration? Yes, please feel free to share it everywhere, even if you have, let's say, a cousin or a friend in Canada, or I don't know, South Korea, or wherever that might be. Totally fine. Please feel free to share widely. We'll be accepting students from all over. They might not get priority consideration depending on if their district is a partner or if like their local library is a partner, but that's okay too. Once again, we're going to accept as many students as possible. So definitely encourage them to also apply. Another good question. How do we select people is it first come, first serve? Good question. We did have an early acceptance deadline that already passed in February 17th. So we will be filling up pretty much about like 40 to 50% of our classrooms from that pool, but there's still a lot of spaces. We're actually going to serve over 6,000 students this summer. For reference, last year we served about 5,000. The year before that was 1,600 because we used to have an in-person program, of course. Now it's virtual, of course, because of COVID. So now, as you can see, we've grown quite a lot. the 6,000 is the minimum number of students that we're going to serve. And depending on the interest in the community and what our capacity is for our teaching team, we're going to try to even open up more classrooms or offer the self-paced summer program or other resources that folks can use to join on into the program. So don't worry about that. In terms of the selection process, we do look at a variety of things. It's a mix of, okay, are all the students looking for the same exact classroom in the same exact time zone? That might be a little tricky, but that usually doesn't happen. It tends to be a bit more spread out. So we'll look based on that. So we'll try to put in classrooms. It's kind of like puzzle matching a little bit. We'll also then look pretty heavily at the short answer response. So if you're going to put some more effort into your application, I would say that's the place to do it. It's still pretty short in terms of your response. Don't lose sleep over it. You'll be okay. But really just talk genuinely. Why are you interested in the program? What do you want to learn? What do you want to get out of the program? How can we help you? And just, I think that honesty really goes a long way in the application. Okay, another quick note, you already applied a couple days ago. That's amazing. We'll definitely let you know. We'll be sharing out the notifications in mid-April as well. So keep a lookout. If you did apply before the early acceptance deadline, you'll hear in mid-March. So be on the lookout for that as well. Yes, no problem. Okay, I'm not seeing too many questions other than that pop into the chat. If you're marinating it a little bit, that's okay. Please feel free to add into the chat. I'll stay on a few extra minutes as well. But if any of you are, getting hungry at all, please feel free to stop off. I'm sure you have to kind of stop and eat some dinner soon. Okay, great. I'm so glad that the information was helpful. Doesn't look like there's too many other questions in the chat, so just wanted to take the chance to thank you all so much again. We really hope to see you this summer and have you join this movement overall. Definitely check us out on YouTube on our page to learn more about what we do and some of the great things that we have. You can check out our podcast on Spotify as well, called Brave Not Perfect, with our founder, Reshma Sojani. You can check out the books that we have, our different programs as well, and definitely make sure to fill out the Summer Immersion Program application and share it with everyone in the district, all of your friends and family all across the world. Really excited to have you, and we hope to see you this summer.
Excellent. Again, thank you so much, Emily. And like Emily did share, this has been recorded and we will have this up again for the BPA's website and on our social media. So if you missed anything, all of this will be shared out again to you. So you'll have an opportunity to rewatch and get the information again, shared widely, like Emily has said, shared with your friends, shared with your cousins, shared with your other schoolmates, but just make sure that you apply. Thank you, Emily. You have been wonderful. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks so much. We'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.